So I'm super excited about this next little announcement, largely because it just feels so life-giving, and I feel like it's answering like an accessibility to, in a big, lots of questions in a lot of our listeners' hearts that are, really interested in birth work, but they're like, is God calling me? How do I do this practically? Like in my life, in this season, like with my kids, what do, my husband, where, like, how do I do it? And like, where is my place in this work? Like, am I actually called to it? Should I be a doula? Should I be a midwife? I don't, and just a lot of lack of clarity, that is happening in the early stages of stepping into birth work. And so, we're just feeling the call. And so we are wanting to offer up just this 21 days of clarity, confidently called 21 days to clarity for women drawn to birth work. And I'm really excited about it.
Holy Wild Birth is a podcast embracing the reclamation of giving birth rooted in God's original design, undisturbed.
Here, we share home birth stories highlighting God's presence as the great midwife, as well as conversations about all aspects of a holistic, spirit-led childbearing year, from the perspectives of myself, traditional midwife Lauren Hall, of Rooted in Eden Private Membership Association,
and me, holistic birth keeper and photographer Brooke Collier of Sister Birth. Together, we are co-founders and facilitators of Hearth Mother Journey, where we are raising up the next generation of holy wild birth keepers.
To choose a holy wild birth journey is to consecrate all of your decisions unto the Lord and reclaim creation unadulterated by centuries of human attempts to control and improve upon what God has called good.
Please remember that birth is not a medical event, but a natural process, and we are not your care providers, so this should not be taken as medical advice. Hey, Lauren.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. We're summering hard. Yeah.
Love that. Love it.
Yeah, I just got back from, a couple days ago, got back from a weekend up in Manistee, Michigan, which is like the epitome of summer joy for me. So it was for the 4th of July weekend, but more so just, I went with my brother and sister-in-law and their kids and my mom and her partner, and we just spent a couple nights and a few days. And they have this little cottage up there situated between the national forest and a 5-minute walk from a private Lake Michigan beach that they share with their neighbors. So I just love it because I love the forest and I love the big lake and I love visiting both in one visit. So like one day we went hunting, me and my daughter and my mom's partner went hunting for chaga in the woods. Do you know what chaga is? The mushroom.
Of course.
Of course you do.
Yes,
of course you do.
Of course
we found a bunch of chaga, like a whole basket full.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. It was really fun too. I'd never really explicitly gone mushroom hunting, where you that's your purpose is just to hunt for mushrooms. And
it's fun.
I quickly realized that you have to kind of decide at some point, am I in this to get a certain quantity or do I have a certain amount of time I'm willing to devote? Because the thrill of the hunt sort of takes over and you kind of just want to keep going and going and going. Anyway, we've figured out the chaga only grows on birch trees. And usually it was the birch trees that were kind of like old and worn and had big wounds on them. And then the chaga would be like growing out of the wound. Yep. So it was really fun.
Yep.
We also saw a big bald eagle's nest in a really big pine tree in the forest. Well, we've seen it before, but we revisited it. You have to we found it kind of by accident a few years ago and we went to see if it was still there, which of course it was. It's huge. Where could it go? It was so huge. And under the tree, there's always bones and feathers and lots of poop. Mm-hmm. And one time we found a fawn's foot under there. Anyway,
all right.
It was fun.
I bet that was Hazel's dream vacation.
Oh, yeah. And then so much beaching. And I don't know, swimming in deep water, there's something about it. Deep water that's not a pool, but being in over my head in a massive body of water is something special. And the water was warm enough that felt feasible this time. So I got to go for a nice swim by myself way out there. And so good. Yeah.
That sounds so rejuvenating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I guess you
rejuvenating.
guys know about
What
this
a
place because I
lovely.
talked about it before. I went there on my birthday retreat too. The beauty retreat was at the same place. Yeah, I just realized that. Our listeners know
Same
about this place.
place. Okay.
Yeah, same place, except this time, instead of being alone, I had a lot of people with me. 10 children, 6
Right,
adults.
which is like a whole different trip.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, a different,
Yeah.
same place, but different experience.
A whole
Absolutely.
different trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What is yours?
I wasn't picturing the same place in my head,
Oh,
so
really?
that's kind of cool
Yeah,
to
same place.
hear the juxtaposition of the same place and yet the different experiences it gave
Mhm.
you. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to read a lot. And can I just talk about how good sand is for toddlers and preschoolers? Like
Yeah.
sand. Sand and water, really. If you need a babysitter, those are the best babysitters.
Right?
Preschooler and a
Yeah.
toddler.
Water is definitely our favorite babysitter, in the summer heat, summer in Arkansas. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let's give them water play, all the water play.
Mhm.
Or I was just telling my husband this morning we needed to do our ice, I can't remember what we call it, but like basically just take a big old tub or mixing bowl or something like that and fill it with a bunch of little toys that
Mhm.
are waterproof, and you fill it with water and freeze it and then pop it out and they have this like ice thing to deconstruct in the hot summer.
Oh.
And, you give them
Chisel
little
away at it, watch it melt. Some
hammers
combination.
and spritz bottles and, whatever they, like whatever they want to get and just kind of begin to pick away at the ice and get their toys out.
That's a great
So,
idea.
or little surprises in the ice thing. It gives you several hours of, depending on how big of the ice thing and how hot the day is, it can give you several hours of just they're intently saving their toys,
Wow. Okay. Making a mental note to try that. That's wonderful. Yeah. What has your summer been looking like so far?
Yeah. Just a lot of resting and healing, really. A very different summer than normal for me, for sure. But it's been slow and steady healing, and I'm very thankful for every day feeling a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And I have been saying, that my capacity hasn't been increasing, but like how I feel in the capacity is increasing. But I think I've tipped over into where, no, actually I'm having a little bit more capacity now. I'm having a little more capacity. Like it's just been slow and steady. And I think really the tipping point was Friday. I was in a whiny mood, with the Lord. And
Sometimes that happens.
sometimes that happens. We're real, and I'm very real with my very real God. And I was just like, Jesus, please heal me. Like in a very whiny, just kind of despair prayer that I threw up. And and I heard him honestly, because I just do. I have a very real relationship with the Lord. And he like kind of retorted back to me, well, I'm trying. And I was like, what? That was me. I made that up. Like, what did the God of the universe is trying to heal me? Like, I don't understand. And then as I was like, was that you? I just, what? Just completely shocked, like, okay, sassy Jesus, what are you talking about? And he immediately the Spirit of the Lord drops the scripture in my mind of life and death is in the power of the tongue. And then I could hear just like these moments all through the last, what's been almost 2 months now, I guess, of like, oh, I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. I'd rather be in the courts of heaven with Jesus. It'd feel much lot better than that. It's been a lot of my self-talk, or even my, like when people would check in on me and the people I'm really close with, or I would just be like, like, no, I feel like I'm dying. Like, this is just me being vulnerable. This is where I feel. And he's like, cool, I'm trying. You keep speaking death over yourself. Like, if you, I need you to stop joking about you'd rather be in the courts of heaven with me and do the assignment that I put you on the earth for. And I was like, cool. Sorry about that. And I say that like I never was like suicidal or actually wishing to be dead, but just I have felt so bad in my body that it just was like, that was I was giving ground over to the enemy with my words, and he so lovingly and even in a fun, sassy way because he knew I'd hear it. You know, he met me where I was at and showed me the problem, you know, and was like, someone who preaches. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my kids have heard me say that scripture to them. You know, like how many times I've told them, you know, like, you're speaking death, break that word curse. Like, we're not doing that. We don't speak death in this house. You can speak blessings or cursings. What are you speaking right now? And yet here I was speaking death, literally using that word over and over and over. And he was like, you keep asking me to heal you and I'm trying, but like, you keep undoing it, you know, work with me here.
Yeah.
Like, can we partner with the will of the Lord, please? And I'm like, oh, right. My bad. I'm sorry. And so immediately was repenting and just shifting my language. And I have seen a difference, and it's not been miraculous healing, like, oh, I'm better the next day. And I fully believe and have experienced that in my life. I fully believe he could do that. And even in the place where I feel like I can expect it now, but because I was speaking so much death that I couldn't expect radical healing.
Sure.
And I didn't realize that until he showed that to me. And so I just kept going, okay, it's going to be slow and it's going to be steady and I'm going to be like this for a while and I just need to get used to it. And I was just partnering with the illness instead of the life and life abundant that he's given me, and the blessing of rest and the blessing of provision in rest that he has been giving me. And now I'm able to now I'm in that and I'm seeing healing happening and I'm feeling healing. Like, I feel good today. I feel good.
Yay.
And so I've moved around more than I have in weeks. It's not light years difference, but it's difference, and I'm feeling it. And so I'm just rejoicing that healing is here and is coming. So
That's beautiful. So let me ask you this. With shifting the language that you're using within yourself, did that feel difficult at first? Like, was it an uphill?
I mean,
okay, I'm choosing to speak life. Here we go.
I think maybe I think more of it was a habit that I had to shift. And I mean, it was only Friday that he said that. So we're at, 3-4 days away from that. So I can't say it was too hard. I think the first day I was like, wow, I have been, like, I noticed it a lot. And I had to take the noticing of, oh, wow, I have been speaking this a lot. I have been partnering with this. And so I think at first it was the noticing of my words and my self-talk and how much it had seeped in. And then once I saw it, I'm just such a truth seeker. I think that as soon as I saw the lie, I was like, nope. I don't know that it was hard to partner with truth as much as I had to detect all of the places that it was coming. So, like, yes and also no, I think is kind of my honest answer there of like, it was like, it's there too. It's also there. Okay. All right. I'm seeing it shifting there. But I have been blessed with the ability to just shift when I see the lie, and I'm like, okay, we're not doing that no more. And so that's just a grace that he's given me my
definitely
most
grace
of my life, for sure.
Yes, that's definitely grace. Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful report. That's interesting that you share about that too, because one thing that I've been just kind of noticing, I hadn't used the phrase speak life, but the Lord laid upon my heart the taking thoughts captive idea in this area of my life where I'm noticing that I am rehearsing a lot of scripts mentally that are not helpful, that are absolutely like digging deeper ruts into areas of dysfunction in my life. And I'm being vague here on purpose, but the point being,
allowed.
I was like, I need to actually actively work on taking these thoughts captive, because if I keep rehearsing this, the rut's just going to keep getting deeper and it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder to get out of here. So, but I am finding it to be relatively effortful work. So I do not feel like it's coming that easily to me. And I think that's actually because some of them have been with me for a very long time.
Yeah. Because there's habit.
And it's like, if I get lazy about it, I can get prone to just kind of go back, and I think I
Yeah.
have been lazy about it. So it's just kind of renewing that work of actively taking thoughts captive and
Yeah.
speaking life. That
Mhm.
seems to be part of the work before me right now as well in a couple areas. So
Mhm. That's good.
yeah, so
And
it's
I
kind of
think
interesting how we're both
renewal
like it.
is very much a work thing,
Mhm.
because then you're talking about, like, I love when the scripture and science collide, because you're talking about
Yeah,
neural
yeah.
pathways
Yep.
that is like, I have made the path of least resistance to be this, and this is, we're going to live in the dysfunction. We're going to chisel out that pathway. And so it's like, of course it's going to take some time, it takes,
Mhm. Mhm.
when I do like prayer work with people, it's like, okay, you got freedom. And I need you to remember that you got freedom in this today. Like, you experienced it. You heard the Lord say this, that, the other, right? Like, he confirmed this to you, which is also always a prayer I say. And, it's like, Lord, please confirm to them the work that you've done today in some way.
Mm.
But like, also, there is a renewal of the mind that can take 4 to 6 weeks as you build new neural pathways and new habits and new self-talk,
Yeah.
because it is part of a process of building new neural pathways. And if, depending on how long they've been there,
Mhm.
it's a deep rut that has to be
Mhm.
filled in and a new way taken.
Right.
So
Yep.
it's very much a part of the renewal and like,
Mhm.
when the repentance is to mean to turn, right? To turn and go another way,
Yep.
we have to make it. I was talking to one of our gals that we disciple in our young adults group, and she was talking about social media habits and fasting, and and some other things that she was like, when things have happened in the past, I've turned to these coping mechanisms,
Mhm.
and just, so this conversation just came up of like, that is what repentance looks like, is to
Mm.
literally turn and make a new way, go a different way, which means you're turning away and doing a different habit. You're creating that self-discipline and not I mean, it is discipline, but spiritual discipline is the word I was looking for.
Yep.
You're creating a new spiritual discipline that is literally making a new way in our
And
mind
it's
and our body.
ongoing, not like a once and done kinda deal.
Yep.
And then the
Yep.
longer the rut has been there, the longer that process
Yeah.
can take, the more
Yeah.
ongoing self-discipline or spiritual discipline
Mhm.
that can be needed, and grace, and
Yep.
Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. I'm also praying that a lot, the Jesus
Yeah.
prayer. Yeah. So it's work, and I've experienced it in my young adulthood. I had a massive stronghold that I was like stuck in a OCD sort of loop around for a year, like 7 years
Mhm.
before I would finally got free from it. So like I know that this slow, steady work paired with moments of like interventive grace is effective. But it's just, there's that part of you that's like, here we are again doing this kind of thing again. Will we
Mhm.
ever be done with having to do this sort of thing? Like the answer is no,
Probably
no,
not this
probably
side of
not.
glory. Not this side of glory.
But sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm tired of having to keep working on
Is
like trauma triggers and like stuck patterns and things like that. It's
Yeah.
just can be discouraging. And then if
Mhm.
I'm not careful, the discouragement can lead to kind of a like just giving up and like going the path of least resistance again. Well, it's easier to
Yeah.
just go back over there and
Yeah.
glide in that direction. So
Yeah.
yep. Yeah.
I would pose the question for you to answer in your own other places and times and space, but just like, how can you make the new pathway the path of least resistance? Like, what do you
That's a great
need
question.
in your life to make that actually the easier thing? Like, if it's self-talk, can we put the words that you want to say in front of your face in the places? Like,
Mhm.
where do you find you go to that place? And, like, how can you make it the path of least resistance? Like, and it's probably something far less difficult of a situation, but to go back to how I was counseling the young adult with social media stuff, it was like,
Mhm.
okay, remove it from the phone, but also place the things that you want to do, like put your Bible app in the same little place that your Instagram was, right? Like,
Yeah.
because now you're saying, I want to be in my Bible more. I want to be off Instagram, more. So I've removed it from my phone. Now, when you follow the habit up with, I'm going to click on this spot on my phone and it's going to be nothing, or it can be
Right.
the
Yep.
thing that you want to do. I was like, so make it your Bible app where your Facebook was, and make it a note that when it opens up where you would have hit Instagram, it's a note that has the people that you've been wanting to pray for, or, like make it easier. What is the path of least resistance to the thing you want to do?
And that touches on the point of how we can't just take something out. It usually has to be replaced.
Hmm.
Like, we can't just leave this big gaping hole there. Like,
Right.
there needs to be something good and right and
You got to
beautiful and
bring
true and noble
yeah.
to replace it. So whether that's a Bible app on your phone or a new set of thoughts or
Yeah. Or fill in the blank, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's make those paths of least the paths to Jesus, the path of least resistance in our lives. And how can we do that?
Yeah. That's good stuff. Hmm.
So switching to maybe lighter topics. Not that that was super heavy, but also and hopefully life giving. And also, before we switch, I do want to say, like, I want to pray for that grace for you. Let you would have the grace to make those switches easily. That you would see the lie, see the truth, and just be able to switch that. So that's going to be a prayer,
Thank
because I
you.
believe that what we carry and the gifts that He's given us can be, you know, given and multiplied out. That's why He gives us gifts, right? It's to give
Mm-hmm.
them away. So be praying
Mm-hmm.
for that
Thank you.
grace. And, I would encourage you to be in I don't know, a place of receiving that. Like, okay, it can be different. It can be different than what I've experienced my whole life, that you can receive grace to just be able to shift the mindsets.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I guess you went to 4th of July in, what was it, Manistee? Manistee, how do you
Yeah,
say that?
Manistee, Michigan. Mm-hmm.
Manistee, Michigan.
Sleepy little beach town.
Yeah, we had a less sleepy time for our 4th of July. I mean, we didn't do ton because I have been not super functional, and
Mm-hmm.
yet we have some good friends that have kind of like a family, set up. They're all on 200 acres. There's multiple houses there, and they've got a little community building, and so they had the 4th of July extravaganza, and we went out there kind of in the later evening, like 6, so the sun's still up. It doesn't set here until like 8:39, and we went out at 6 and we ate and we played games, and just kind of sat as the kind of men were blowing up, the daytime fireworks stuff, the littler ones, and waiting for the nightfall so they could set off the big ones. And so we just had a beautiful time with a bunch of friends and church family, and there's, lots of kids everywhere running around, and there's a pool and sunshine and games and just good food and lighthearted fun.
Yeah.
So we had that, and there was a sweet moment. My twins are really terrified of fireworks and loud noise. So most of that was poor Brandon, because he was a lot faster than I am, catching up with them, or, keeping them close to me, because I knew, okay, there's going to be more. But during that daytime, it was kind of just this unexpected. There wasn't like, okay, we're going to shoot off fireworks now, be ready. It was
Right.
just, oh, we're going to light some of these. And then they would get some more set up. And then it would just, 10, 15 minutes later, they'd set off more. And then, it would kind of be quiet for a minute and be like, oh, we got all these set up. So 20 minutes later, now we're firing off more. And so their poor little like nervous systems were just like, what is happening? Like, why are we being bombed, And, at one point, it had been a little bit since they'd gone off, and there's the pool, and then there's this like the pool has just gotten put in. So there's still this like little hump of gravel and dirt from the digging and, all the things. And so Willow was sitting there playing with it, and just kind of, it's a above ground pool. And Renee, her teen sister, and her friends were kind of sitting there, and they're playing with her. She's she would look up, and they would pretend like that threw them backward in the water and stuff. And so, they were just playing with her
I love that.
from the pool. And then as she's sitting there, so this is probably like, I don't know, 40 feet from me. And I'm sitting there with a bunch of other moms, and we were just playing like a verbal game. And so we're all just kind of watching and, chatting and whatnot. And the fireworks go off, and I see her just freeze and start crying, just like
Mhm.
sobbing, like, totally terrified. And so I get up to go to her, but before I could even like be out of my seat, Renee has put her hands on the top of the, above ground pool and launched herself out of the pool and to her and just like scoops her up and just holds her.
Oh,
And I was just like, okay, that was the sweetest
sweetheart.
thing ever. And so then, like, me and, like, all the other moms are like, "My goodness, that was so sweet." And then it was just such this, like, little mama, sweet sister moment that has just blessed my heart in so many
Mm,
ways because it just like, even the fact that she was, like, including her baby sister in her play with her teen
absolutely.
friends
Yeah.
before that, and then when she saw that she needed some support, she just there was beyond split second before she was right to her baby sister, and it just
Mm, of
blessed my heart so much that
course it did.
she's such a good big sister and little mama jeans, forming, and
Yeah.
she's just growing up so fast. I just see her like, she's starting to look like a woman, and I'm like, "What
Mhm.
is happening?" And
It's strange.
it's just a whole strange thing, I've been doing it with the older boys looking and sounding
Well,
like
right.
men for a little bit, but now I don't know. It's just like, okay, and now we have like 3 adult-looking people.
Wow. Yeah, I was just thinking you and I are reversed in that regard. Like your
Uh-huh.
eldest are boys and my eldest is a girl. So we're
Mhm.
having the puberty experiences of the opposite
And the
genders in
opposite
opposite
genders
order.
for a bit, yeah. So that yeah, we're hitting kind of that for her now, and I mean, we have been, she's 14, but it just this in this last 6 months or so, there has just been a lot of
Mm,
shift changes in her demeanor and her outlook on life and her body and just like just everything. It's just like you're a
yeah.
whole you are a different
Wow.
person than you were 6 months ago, and
Mhm.
it's kind of the same rapid growth that like the newborns go through, where you're just like, wow, you grew last night. Wow, you are different. Like a month ago, you were a whole different human. And now a month ago, you were a whole different human. And it just like, they just so rapidly
Yeah.
shift within that first year and 2 years, and they're just hitting these milestones. It's like that.
Mhm.
Again, it's this
Mhm.
like, whoa, you are a whole different person. Like, just they're blooming in beautiful ways. And it's such a cool experience to watch, your teens just really step into like, I don't know, the fullness of who God's creating them to be. They've always been
Yeah.
full humans and always,
Of
and
course.
had their full personalities, but there's just
More
something
layers
about
getting
this.
revealed and
Yes. And
developed and
and like they're coming into like, this is who I was as a family, part of our family, and now this is who I am as me.
mhm.
And there's just this beautiful like they're not separating, but they are in
Mhm.
really cool and interesting ways. And I just love watching them
Yeah. Well, there was
bloom.
just that one moment with the by the pool was one prime example of seeing the fruition
Yeah,
of some
like
of that.
who she is and
Yeah.
how she responds, and you know, it's just cool. I loved it. Good mom moments.
And speaking of scary fireworks, I forgot to say that, like nationally, so many dogs get lost every year on the 4th of July because they're scared of the fireworks. This
Oh,
is
I
like a
did
whole
not know
thing.
that.
They freak out when they run away. And so we were up at this cabin and it was like late at night, like 11 p.m. And this little dog showed up at the door, like at
Oh.
the slider, just like looking in piteously. And my mom, who has a long history of animal rescue, was like, "Oh, come here, baby." Brought the dog in. Tiny little toy poodle, super cute and shaking like a leaf and soaking wet. And so we ended up having this dog for like maybe a couple hours, trying to like posting in different social groups, texting the neighbors that we did have numbers for. And like the men drove around looking for people looking for dogs. And
Yeah.
like we were just drying and cuddling this dog. And then we got the sheriff's department involved. And anyway, this poor, yeah. So the dog got taken to the animal shelter in the middle of the night
Oh.
by a sheriff's deputy. And then the next day, my sister-in-law was out going for a run and she ran into this lady on the road who was like, "Have you by any chance seen a little dog?" And she's like, "Yes, we have seen a little dog." So we got to know that the dog got to go back to
Got
its
to go
owner.
find
But
oh,
she's like, "We
good.
just don't know why it would have run away." And she's like, "Well, probably the fireworks." She's like, "Oh, I didn't think of that."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thing. So
That's a real thing. I didn't
I was
realize, I mean, it completely makes sense but didn't realize that many went lost on that day. It's
Yep.
kind of one of those, like, unless you're in the field, you don't know the weird days that it's super busy on this. It's
Right.
gonna be a busy day, guys.
Yeah, but both the animal shelter and the sheriff's dispatcher, like, both mentioned this is one of the busiest days of the year for this kind of
For
thing.
this thing. Yeah. Crazy
So,
stuff. I bet ERs are also a busy time for
yeah,
July.
absolutely. People blowing off fingers and burning themselves
And knees was what happened at our
Knees.
4th of July. Yeah. The one of the guys blowing up the fireworks, they had one of the big, like, what are they, mortars or whatever,
Mm.
that fell over after it got lit. And so it shot right at two of the guys, and it went
That's
right
scary.
by the head of one, and he, like, lost hearing. You'd think they didn't hit him in the head. Praise the Lord.
Oh,
But it went
my
right by his
word.
head, like, it just exploded. And so he lost hearing in one of his ears, and it hit the other guy's knee and blew it open.
Aw.
And so it was like, okay, that's and he's military, and so he just kind of started to walk it off, like, I'm fine, I'm
Like a
fine.
champ.
Yeah, and then
Got
he, like,
this.
went and cleaned it out really well, and I was like, "Let me see that." And I was like, "I can see your bone. Like, that needs to be sutured. We're not butterflying that." Like, so we got out, and I'm on call, and so I had my birth kit and
Oh,
everything.
perfect.
So it was like, "Well, sit down. I'm gonna suture you up." Now, the kind of hilarious aspect of this story is it happened towards the very end of the night when it was like the last fireworks that they had blown up, and I was getting to the point where I kind of got this time of night where I get really nauseous and I'm going to throw up unless I get horizontal and in the bed. And so it's like a blood sugar thing, I think, and just, I'm like, I need to be asleep. My body's ready for its healing time and I need to be in bed. And so we were approaching that, and I was like, I'm about ready to go. And then he needed sutures, and I was like, okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go home. And I had no problem with suturing, obviously, like, just like, whatever.
Mhm.
Been there, done that. But I'm like, we get him all set up, and he had actually done a really good job cleaning it. But I finished cleaning it up, and I get everything set, and I have like this whole peanut gallery of all of his family just standing around going, whoa, can we film this? We're going to film, and, and
Suturing under pressure.
suture. Yeah. I was just like, okay, whatever, but most of the sutures I've done have been around other people's families. So
Truth.
it's just like, yeah, whatever. But this is a very, like, hilarious group of people. Like, they're the very, like, boisterous, hilarious. Everybody's got a joke. Somebody's, like, it's just peanut gallery, like the epitome of I think we had like 10, 15 people watching, and just everybody's cracking jokes and, and all things. And my blood sugar starts to drop, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to throw up.
No.
And his wife is like, it's not because of the blood, is it? I'm like, it's definitely not because of the blood. Like, if you knew
Do you
how
know
much
who I
blood,
am?
like, like, no, it's not. Like, no. I was like, no, this is just the time of night I throw up every night. And she was like, oh, okay. What does she need? Please don't throw up in his knee. I was like, I'm not. We're gonna be, like, because it was right in front of me. She's like that would not be good, And I was like, just somebody give me some fruit, So I'm like trying to stabilize my blood sugar, and my hands are all shaky, and I'm like, they can't be shaky. I have to suture up a knee.
Right.
But it was just kind of a comedic, like, I was like, well, this needs to be a sitcom. Like, what is happening right now? But I got stabled and was able to just suture him up.
Okay.
And
How many stitches?
but I did 3. I didn't have enough. I should have done a little. I would have liked to do 4, maybe even 5, but we ended up doing that. And I put my surgical glue over the top of it as well to
Okay.
kind of cover. So I just spaced them out. But in my shakiness, I cut my string too short. I was like, why did I do that? And I only had the one pack. And I was like, okay, well, this is what we got. And so I wasted a little bit more of the line than I would have liked. And I probably could have put two more interrupted.
Mm.
stitches there, but I did 3 and it held it fine. And they were like, no, it's healing great. So
Okay. So he
whatever.
didn't have to go get it like further
No,
patched up.
I
Good.
mean, I was able to, I just wanted to be able to do one more.
Gotcha.
But I just put the suture glue right there and it was fine.
So really you
So
prevented one 4th of July ER visit.
exactly. I
Well
was the
done.
4th of July ER visit.
Mhm.
So alas, 4th of July.
July. My Gilbert, who's 3.5 now, this is his first. Well, he's watched fireworks one other time, but he was so into it this year, and he got to go to the fireworks stand to buy some of them with the dads earlier in the day. So he had picked out one that had like 16 shots in it or something. And
Sure.
when it was his one going off, every time one would go off, he'd be like, "Mine is magical! It's magical, Mom! Oh, it's magical!"
I love it.
It was very cute. And then he goes, "Let's do this."
That's so cute.
I don't even care about the fireworks that much, but watching small children in fireworks is really a fun time.
I like them.
Because
Yeah.
the delight, well, unless they're crying like Willow and Ren, but
Right. I haven't had a kid that's liked them in a while. Like they have to get so much older for my kids to be okay. It's probably all the autism.
maybe, yeah,
Everybody's like, so much sound. What's happening?
yeah.
But we're
There's a lot
definitely
of
the
sound.
family that has to have the earmuffs and the
Yeah,
pre-prep and the like, okay, and the exit strategy in case it's just too much. Like, I don't know that I've enjoyed fireworks in a long time. Like,
shoot. Maybe need a different 4th of July hobby.
so, yeah, we haven't. I don't think we did anything last year at all because of that. And then this year we did have, they were like, yeah, come out. And I was like, okay, this sounds fun to a degree. And we'll just go to the community building when they start launching them. And which is what we did when
Okay,
we were
so it was
launching
a
the
little
big ones.
muffled.
Yeah, we were launching the big ones. We just took the girls inside and just, that was what we did. So,
well, another fun thing going on here that I wanted to talk about briefly is that I'm fostering a pregnant cat.
yeah.
She's been at my house for a week and a half, and when she came to me, they're like, she's probably gonna have the babies any minute. And here we are. She still hasn't had the babies. But my daughter, Maeve, who's 9, has a friend who fosters kittens on the regular, and she's been pretty jealous about it. So when this opportunity came up, I said, Maeve, do you want to take care of this pregnant cat and her babies? And she's like, yes, I'll do everything. I'll do all the things.
It's so cute.
Farina, Miss Farina, I didn't name her, is living in my basement, and we're just on like kitten watch. Every morning I wake up and think there could be kittens. We have no idea how pregnant she is. Like there's no data was given to me about when she got pregnant. All I know is that she looks big, and when she lays down on her side, I can see the babies moving inside of her and feel their little knobby parts. It's like palpation on a cat.
Yeah.
So that's a good time. I'm really genuinely excited for the kittens to come. And I think it's probably unlikely that I'll get to be present at the moment of the birthing because mammals tend to find a quiet time in a dark place. And so it's unlikely.
Especially cats. I feel
Yeah.
like cats especially tend to like disappear often.
Now she only has this one big, like we have this big like downstairs family room. It's quite large and there's limited numbers of spots to hide. But I've been noticing she's been going under the couch more and more often lately. I'm wondering if that's where she's going to end up doing her work. But it's been interesting too, because I started reading some articles on different like pet websites about like cat birth and how to be helpful to it and what you need to assist it and like the materials you should have on hand and like the things you might need to do. And I was reading these things and started getting all like, oh man, like I better get ready, like gather my supplies and be ready to do all these things and towel them off and like bite through their cords and or scissor them and then I was like, wait a minute,
what am I doing?
What am I doing? I was like, I'm falling prey to the medical model for cats.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, it was a sort of funny moment because I trust women to give birth without all of that. So why did I suddenly think a cat needed it?
I need to have
I just got in my head a little too much in those articles. And it made me think, oh, what a great parallel. Like, that's what we do as humans, too. We start reading all these articles, all these things about all the things that could go wrong, how to be prepared, and what to bring to fend it off, and we're disrupting the physiology in the process of all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, truly what this cat needs is just the physiological process and room for it to unfold
Yeah.
without me disturbing her. And yeah, I guess there's a slim chance that one of them will need its, bag
Yeah.
taken off of its face or a cord severed, but probably not a real big chance.
Yeah.
Also, do
That's
you know
true.
if cats have postpartum hemorrhage ever? Because it didn't
I
come up in
don't
any
know.
of the articles I was reading, and I thought, is this a uniquely
Human
human
thing?
experience? I've
You know,
never
I
heard of an
don't have
animal
a
having a
ton,
postpartum hemorrhage, like a mammal.
right? I don't have a ton of experience. Like I've done a few goats and some
Mhm.
dogs, and I've never seen a postpartum hemorrhage with dogs or the goats. That's quite an interesting,
I know.
which the dog's uterus is very differently shaped. So I wonder if is it because of the way they're like shaped that maybe prevents it a little bit more?
Well, I
Like
know.
it's like those long thin tubes that I would imagine would clamp a lot faster because there's a lot less
Oh, okay.
space to need to clamp. Just a guess here. I don't know.
Okay, so I just Googled it. Do mammals have experienced postpartum hemorrhage? And this is like the AI summary that automatically comes up now, right? But while it's a leading and severe complication in humans, it also occurs in domestic and large animals such as mares, cows, sows, and dogs due to genital trauma, uterine tears, or retained placentas. However, it is significantly less common in non-human mammals. Evolutionary anthropologists note that humans are uniquely vulnerable to severe postpartum hemorrhage compared to other primates because the human placenta invades the uterine wall much more deeply to support a
I
larger
did know
brain
that.
size.
Yeah, I did know that actually. That the placenta did that. I hadn't gotten to that connection
That
to for
conclusion.
the hemorrhage aspect, but yeah,
So that's interesting. And it did say in this little summary, larger animals tend to have more
right.
of an issue with than smaller ones. So anyway,
Which would mean a larger placenta, which,
uh-huh.
larger uterine space that has to stretch out for. So that makes sense on a physiological space. Plus, we also know like fear comes in and
Yes,
more
the role of
intervention
the
comes in. And so, like,
prefrontal
where
cortex.
does all that come in? Whereas they are not generally, dealing with the emotional
Right.
context of trauma
Yes.
around.
Mammals don't have these complex mental stories they're telling themselves or
Right.
like fears they're
Yeah.
nursing in private.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just got me thinking about because
Yeah.
I sometimes have people watch videos of mammalian birth in
Mhm.
preparation for their own birth to see what that can look like in a purely instinctual, like not prefrontal cortex sort of way, how
Yeah.
birth can just kind of go. I think it can be really instructive and inspiring. So but then I started wondering about, yeah, which complications do we anticipate in humans that maybe we don't anticipate in animals and why might that be?
Right. Yeah, and I will, like it's also one of those. I always like to use the phrase, kind of going back to like, how much do we prep? How much do we just trust the physiology, and like where do we live in that middle zone,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. It's
And
such a
I always
balancing act.
tell, yeah, I always tell my clients, and just like it's okay to be prepared. Like we're gonna pluck 5 stones and expect to use one, like David. David
Mhm.
plucked 5 stones and by the grace of God and the strength and all of the like he plucked 5, but he used one because God allowed that. Like that's what. And so I'm like, we can pluck 5 stones and we can talk about hospital transfer and we can pluck 5 stones and discuss what are we gonna do if baby gets stuck
Mhm.
or, what interventions might I want to use in a postpartum hemorrhage in these ways that we can just talk about this, not from a fear place, not from a fear mongering place, but just like we're going to pluck our stones and then we're going to put them in the little bag and we're probably not going to touch them. We're never going to think about them because like it's been done. We can move on. It's there. We can help if we need to help. But our
Mhm.
first help is going to be that we honor physiology. And
Mhm.
because of that, we probably won't need anymore, you know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I have seen a bad dog birth go where
Mm.
they actually needed an emergency C-section, which was
Yeah.
nuts. And I was like, "What?" But also, it was a type of dog that is not a normal bred. Like it's one
Mhm. I was
like
just wondering.
humans made this particular breed, so it's like we've already messed with the physiology
A
here,
petite dog.
Yep, yep. and their wildly high rate of C-section because their uteruses are like almost too small for the dog that the baby's
Mm.
pups that are born. And this particular pup got stuck and passed, and then her uterus ruptured and they had to get out the other three. So
Ugh.
it was just rough.
Yeah,
It was so rough. That poor little pup,
it
poor
is
little
rough.
dog. And
But something went
he,
wrong well before the actual birth process, which was, like you said,
it
we
was,
engineered a
yeah,
dog breed,
exactly. We engineered a dog breed and it,
which is probably, again, we've talked about this before, I think, but like how sometimes births that are attained through
mhm,
assisted reproductive technologies
higher
go a
risk.
little harder as well.
Yep.
So,
We start messing with stuff and it just things get messed with, you know? Like, so yeah, we definitely, what I did notice in that sweet little dog was that she had such a mama instinct, even for that pup that had passed. She was
mm,
like trying to wake it and hold it and love on it. And it was like, oh, that's so sad.
it's so
So,
sad.
like, yeah, there's so much
Yeah.
similarity and
Yeah.
yet also differences. It's crazy to think about animal
Yeah.
birth.
It is. I keep thinking now of more and more things I could say about animal birth, but I'm like, do I really want to keep going down this conversational track?
Is it that important? Who
The
knows?
cow
This
story.
is such a cup of tea, like this is just what happens when you get in a room with women and you just start talking and you don't know where you'll end up.
It's true.
Down a rabbit trail for rabbit birth. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen a cow birth. I've seen several goats,
Oh, I
but
haven't seen it either, but okay, I'll say two things about cow birth. My former raw milk farmers, he was the cow midwife at an industrial dairy for a long
Oh,
time
okay.
before they started their grass-fed, pastured raw milk farm. And he was like routinely pulling calves out
Mhm.
of their mothers with chains. And
With
then once
chain?
yeah, well, that's how they do it. That's how they grip them. They wrap chains
Wow.
around the feet and yeah, pretty brutal.
Okay. That's
hmm
yeah.
It's standard though, not just
Yeah.
him.
I knew that they pulled mostly, but with chains just kind of puts a different wow.
Chains.
Okay.
And then when they started their own herd and they were like living as designed, he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the cows just drop their calves in the night and we wake up and there's another one. Like, I don't have to
Uh-huh.
do anything anymore. And, like very rarely, very
Right.
rarely. But then I read this wonderful book recently too called The Radiance of the Ordinary,
Mm.
which is kind of like a memoir about these homesteaders. And she talked about one of her cows whose baby got stuck, even though, again, for them that was very unusual because they usually just go out in pasture and drop a calf. But she
Yeah.
happened to notice her laboring and she ended up needing to help. And by the time she got the baby out, it was stillborn. But she wrote about this cow's response to that. She was the farmer at first. Her first instinct was to drag the calf away, like put it on the forklift and take it out of the pasture and like out of the mom's sight. But then the mom was like following her and just like looking around and like lowing mournfully. And then she realized that her cow needed to be with her baby a while longer, even though she wasn't living anymore. So she just let them be
Yeah.
together a while and just like watched them from afar while the mother kind of came to terms with the fact that she was really gone. And I'm just like, okay. I loved her for honoring that moment for her cow,
Yes. Yes.
but it made me a little teary too.
For sure. It's
Yeah.
hard stuff. I
Mm.
think that's the one thing that I really appreciate about farmers and homesteaders that are raising, whether it be small farms or larger farms, they tend to just have a clear understanding of like life and death
Mm-hmm.
and grief and just seeing grief as part of life.
Yeah.
Um, and especially the ones that are closer, like to the way it should be, less the big, monstrosity farms of, like less the larger factory run farms, but like, ones that are really in community with their
Mhm.
animals.
Yeah, in
They
community
see
with their
the
animals. That's a good way of
they
saying it.
see
They know
the
them as
they
individuals.
they see
Mhm.
the grief and they see life and death as part of this whole process of thing we're doing on this earth. And it's just, I don't know, they have a healthier view of it, I think. And I've seen them be able to grieve better, more, grieve well in times when grief hits them. I don't know. There's something beautiful about really being connected to the nature and the cycles of nature.
Mm-hmm.
in that way.
Yeah. I'm sometimes sad I don't have more of that
Mhm.
in my life, more opportunity
Yeah.
for that connection. But I also, frankly, really don't want to be a farmer or a homesteader,
Anyway,
if I'm
yeah.
really honest.
Part of me does and part of me doesn't, you know?
So much admiration, but zero drive to actually be that or
Yeah.
live that life. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to live on a farm with a bunch of people, and I will be the midwife and the healer
There
and,
you go.
maybe teach the kids and, you
Hmm.
know, make some food for
But you don't
everybody.
want to till the
And you
fields.
guys can, maybe I'll harvest some or plant some seeds or things here and there, but it wouldn't be like my main be like,
Hmm.
"Oh, we need extra help today." Okay, cool.
Sure.
Like, the cow is giving birth. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll be around. Like,
But you
but,
won't be watching the farmer's
I
almanac
do
and trying to
love
anticipate the best
now.
time to plant the corn and harvest the beans.
It's just not me.
I
Like,
know
I
I can't.
want
My
it.
brain
I
doesn't.
want it, but I can't do I'm just like,
Yeah.
somebody else do the and I do love milking a goat. Like, I really love milking. Like, it's such a cathartic and enjoyable experience as I've done some farm sitting and had friends that have, had farms and had that opportunity several times, and I do really love milking, so I'm like, "I could do this." But, yeah, as a whole on a, like, this is my responsibility kind of space. Like, it's just not something that I would want to build my life around because you do have to build your life around it.
110%.
Just
Yes.
as much as like birth becomes so much of you're building your life around, running on a farm is so much. And I'm like, I can't do both of these. Like, I could not, I don't know. It's just
Yep.
not in me to like run it well. Not well. I could do it, but I wouldn't do it well, and I don't wanna do it if I'm not gonna do it well, so
Yep. I resonate with all that. I do
yeah.
like the idea of the group farm where everyone plays their role.
Mhm.
But to just be like a couple running a whole farm where you're doing all the things, that sounds not like a good time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift our gears because we're kind of getting low
Okay.
on time, but there's a couple of things I thought we should talk about that we're kind of up to together that it seems worth
Yes.
mentioning, like
Yeah,
the fact that
absolutely.
we brought on a new team member,
Yeah.
Olivia. She's a gem.
She is an absolute
We
gem.
go way back with Olivia. Well, not way back, but like
Way back.
she's an Hearth
Way
Mother
back
Journey
to, like,
grad.
2 years. Year
2024. Yeah.
24.
She graduated from HJ and now she's doing Hearth Mother Midwifery on school under
Yes.
Lauren and alongside me. And she's a student midwife
So
and a
she was
doula.
third cohort? Yes,
Second. Wasn't it
third.
second?
Mm-mm. She just graduated when we opened up HMU.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, she's
Yeah.
great. We love her. And she's going to be functioning as, like, she's doing a lot of work behind the scenes on this podcast, editing
Yeah.
things, just working on increasing its reach and making sure people can see it and know about it and participate in conversations around the things that get talked about on this podcast. She's also going to be doing like affiliate stuff for Hearth Mother Journey.
Mhm.
And she's just like on fire with ideas and
Yeah.
creativity and it's a fun time. So one
And
thing she's
you've
working
met
on
her
right now.
once. You've all met her
Yeah,
once
that's right.
on the, round table of HJ students. She was in
Yep.
that call, and you'll be meeting her again on the week after this one, right? We dropped this, and then the following week
A
she'll
little
be
later this month. Yeah, she'll be
a
on
bit
a
later.
birth story episode.
Mhm.
I'm really excited about this one. She's going to come on talking from the birth keeper perspective. And then the woman she was serving, the one giving birth, will also be on. And so they'll be telling about the birth from both of their perspectives in parallel.
Fun stuff.
And it has some fun surprises in it. So it should be a really fun episode. Keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So grateful for that. What else are we doing?
So I'm super excited about this next little announcement kind of thing, largely because it just feels so life-giving, and I feel like it's answering like an accessibility to, and lots of questions in a lot of our listeners' hearts that are, really interested in birth work, but they're like, is God calling me? How do I do this practically? Like, in my life, in this season, like with my kids, what do, my husband work? Like, how do I do it? And like, where is my place in this work? Like, am I actually called to it? Should I be a doula? Should I be a midwife? I don't, like, and just a lot of lack of clarity, that is
Yeah.
happening in the early stages of stepping into birth work. And so, we're
Mhm.
just feeling the call. And so we are wanting to offer up just this 21 days of clarity, confidently called 21 days to clarity for women drawn to birth work. And I'm really excited about it.
Me
Less on the
too.
promotion side of things. Like, I am just genuinely, like, I've been very forthright about, like, kind of the health crisis that I've been walking through, and I've had to lay down a lot of the work in the ministry that I do. And, like, that work is like the main breadwinner of my family,
Yeah.
and my husband's paying up the slacks in a lot of ways, but it's the things that I've had to drop down.
Mhm.
The few things that I've kept have been these live calls with our HJ students, the live calls with HMU, and some calls even in other, like, little midwifery groups that I'm a part of, because I feel so, like, nourished by them, even if I
Mhm.
am the one pouring out in some of those. Not all of them have I been, but, like, in HJ and HMU, obviously. But I'm just so nourished by that. Like, that is one of my, like, calls and giftings, and it's just to just be able it just feels easy to be able to be in a live
Yeah.
call and talk with other women and just teach and commune and,
Mhm.
create good conversation, and I
Like an
just it's
interactive way instead of
yes,
static pre-recorded content.
right, and so it just
Yeah.
feels really nourishing, and it feels
Mhm.
good, and it feels like something that, like, I can really do and do well in this season, and this is a way I can do that. I can do that work still and do it in this. So that's kind of, I guess a little bit of what this is gonna be is we're gonna do some live calls for a
Mhm.
21-day period for those who are like, "Yes, I am asking all those questions," um, to help just walk you through, like, how do we get clear? How do you know that God's calling you? How do you hear his voice? And, like, what do you do with that once you hear it?
Mm.
Just kinda gently walk with some ladies for a short period of time, doing some live calls with myself, with Brooke, and I'm just really excited about it because it just feels like it's a small offering that I hope will have really big impact on
Yep.
people and feels really nourishing to my soul too, to be able to
Mhm.
offer something like that.
Win-win.
Yeah, that just feels like I'm just really excited about it.
Mhm. Me too, and it feels like something I could have used
Right?
at points in my past of
Yeah,
because I don't know, I'm pretty prone to, like, overanalyzing and analysis paralysis, kinda,
I feel that.
like, so
I
the
feel
questions
that.
would come up and I'd be like, "I don't know," and then I just am stuck, and so we were trying to just get in touch with what are some of the places people do get stuck because I do hear that a lot, and I've experienced it in my own life of sensing there's something here that I'm supposed to be paying attention to. There's something about this work that's pulling me in, and
Mhm.
I think it's the Lord, but then also, what about this? What about that? I don't know about this. I don't know. There's too many options. And how would I
Yeah.
make that work? And so we just want to give a guided kind of like tour through those questions in a supportive way, asking good questions and giving journal prompts and information in addition to the live calls
Yeah.
that just kind of help shepherd you through those questions in a way that hopefully gets you out of that overthinking and into a clarity about your next right steps.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if that next right step is at this time, nothing,
Right.
that's okay.
That's okay. They're clear about it. You
At least
know
you
that,
have a
like,
yes or
this is where I'm
no.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that's really the hope, is that it can be about getting clear about what is right for you right now. It's not a prescription to put anybody in. We're going to take you from day one to everyone's at the same place in day 21. Like, that's
No, that's
no,
not possible.
it's about getting you connected and clear
Mhm,
to the one who called you so that you can feel confidently called and knowing what your right next step is going to be and
mhm,
how to find that in just a really gentle, individualized way for each of you. And so I'm really excited to, meet a handful of new women and kind of
mhm,
see that beginning of, like, another small offering that allows us
mhm.
to raise up some holy wild birth keepers.
And with live contact, so great. I'm doing that with my
Yeah.
Embrace Birth Journey. I'm doing a live cohort right now. And so, like, even though the static courses has been there for a long time, I felt really out of touch with the people who are going through it because I'm never really talking to them.
Mhm.
But showing up on a live call once a week, once a month in this case with them, and just actually hearing them interface with the material and with one another and bring up
Yeah.
subjects and questions. It's just, I don't know, nothing beats the live element.
Yeah, it's true.
So, which is one of my favorite things about Hearth Mother Journey too, is that
Mhm.
is there every week.
Right.
It matters for us as teachers. It also matters for the students who come to those
Yeah.
calls a lot.
I think it makes such a difference in these, whether it be a small program or a big program. Ultimately, people are wanting community, and that's what I want to
Yeah.
offer. Like I want to offer connection, and I think that we're supposed to live with people, and
Mhm.
and that's another one of the things that I hear so much in that, like, well, I don't have anybody around to talk with me about this. I don't have anybody to mentor me. I just feel this call, and just it's one of the things that needs clarity. And sometimes you just need to be able to verbally process that out with someone who gets it, who can hear and hold space for that. And I'm hoping that that's exactly what this will be. So,
Yeah. So we'll for sure put a link to that new offering in the show notes here for anyone who might be feeling like, oh, that is for me.
that's for me. I want to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just a reminder, we're opening up our next cohort of Hearth Mother Journey too, which is our, huge year-long birthkeeper discipleship and training program.
It's coming soon
Yeah.
in
We're
the
going to do an open
fall.
house on August 17, and that's when enrollment will open too.
Yep.
So you're also invited to that if that's something you want to know more about. That's also a live event. So it's a good way to ask some questions in real time and explore and see behind the curtain, so to speak, of what's inside of that program. And I think that's all we needed to let you all know about this time.
I think so. I love that. Well, do let us know how you enjoyed your 4th of July. Did you suture up anybody's knee? Did you enjoy your fireworks? Did you
Taking stray dogs.
swim in deep water? What were you doing? Let us know in the community. We really want to see that place become a thriving place because we really do believe in community. So we'd love to hear your 4th of July stories and how your summer is going in the community.
Yes, please. Thanks for hanging with us for a meandering conversation.
Yes.
See you next time, friends.
Till next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Holy Wild Birth. We hope that you were genuinely encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. If you're loving what you hear, please make sure that you share it. Leave reviews. That helps other mamas find this content as well. And don't forget to read the show notes, okay? Because that's where you can find our email address if you want to reach out to us and start a conversation. It's also where you'll find free offerings as well as invitations to work with me and or Lauren. We can't wait to get to know you. See you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Holy Wild Birth. We hope that you were genuinely encouraged, inspired, and challenged by what you heard today. If you're loving what you hear, please make sure that you share it. Leave reviews. That helps other mamas find this content as well. And don't forget to read the show notes, okay? Because that's where you can find our email address if you want to reach out to us and start a conversation. It's also where you'll find free offerings as well as invitations to work with me and or Lauren. We can't wait to get to know you. See you next week.